Yeah. So shall we spend maybe about 10 minutes or so just on bone health, perhaps?
Yep.
And just if you have any sort of questions. So the thing that I think sometimes is worth emphasizing, and you sort of touched on, is that, we're very dynamic. Our bones, our muscle, everything is changing all the time. And yes, this idea of things changing over time and then deteriorating, such as muscle, such as bone, and osteoporosis is common. It's 1 in 2 women. It depends on the age group, but over the age of 50, and it's actually almost like, certainly US here, and a lot of the other sort of developed health economies, and it's going to increase at a very rapid rate in sort of Southeast Asia and so on. So it's female, it's sort of any medical condition, it's having children, it's being on certain medicines, it's sort of other risk factors such as alcohol, smoking, being infirm, anything that might lose your activities or losing weight and so on. So there's a few different risk factors, and thankfully, as long as you can do some of these things to minimize those risk factors and make use of some other interventions, we can arrest the decline and actually help the bones get stronger over time. And you can, gain muscle and have a more improving health over time rather than, declining, which is the sort of the natural sort of history of these things, as you know. So making the case for that sort of thing, with your sort of advice, I think would be really, really helpful.
I think it's essential. No, absolutely. Listen, it's crazy. And I would reach out to lots and lots of women's groups, and of which there are many who aren't prepared at all this fuss about menopause. I don't think people know about this stuff enough. And that would be a very obvious series of partnerships to get this into every menopause group, every women's group. I mean, it's just basic. Why don't we know about this stuff? I don't get it.
Yeah, and so pregnancy and breastfeeding and so on, all of those things. I know there are lots of
breastfeeding. Nobody ever told me that breastfeeding long would drain my bones. I mean, that's hilarious, right? And so I would also reach out to all those there are all these breastfeeding things that tell you breastfeeding is the best thing in the world, and blah, blah, blah. I don't mind breastfeeding, but I went on and on because I thought it was really great for both me and the baby. Had I known that it was a bone sucker, I might have stopped at 6 months. He would have been, the kids would have been fine, and I would have been healthier boned.
Yeah, clear. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. Is there anything else that? So if you don't mind, we'll share some information with you about what we're doing with the foundation, and just because you've got this sort of incredible awareness about getting projects, some viability and scale and interconnected with other sort of resources that help them sort of progress. So I think any sort of bit of advice from you would make an incredible difference to us.
With great pleasure. Listen, I'm always here.
Super. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you wanted to share, or just sort of worth sort of mentioning?
Again, listen, I'm turning 63 this summer and was diagnosed with osteopenia a couple of years, this last year. And it was kind of a surprise, since I've been pretty healthy, very attentive to all the things we talk about: sleep, nutrition, exercise. But did I do strength training? No. Did I know about strength training? Well, not till a couple of years ago when I started. Why didn't I know about this stuff? I find that really kind of annoying. And then I'm delighted to discover that, unlike what I was told by my GP when I was diagnosed, it is reversible and you can build bone at any age and stage. I wish more people could hear about this earlier and integrate it into their routines. I think a lot of young people now know about strength training, but I think they're not necessarily aware that it's so essential to their bones and their later life health. And I think that would be a useful additional message to throw in the mix.
No, that's a good point that you make. So if I put a couple of paragraphs together, so maybe we can sort of share that with one or other publication and sort of as joint authors, if that's Yeah, well, let me make a start, and I'll just give you a couple of sort of paragraphs, and then you can sort of say, because we're desperate to reach out to people and have them have this sense of this curiosity and awareness about certain things. And having your sort of mentorship and advice on that would make a difference. So so we can really serve people in a better way. Yeah.
With pleasure.
Incredible.
I'm also linked up with this lovely group of women in medicine.
Right.
We do an annual conference this year in Cambridge in September.
Right.
If you're interested, I'm very happy to introduce you there.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Because the thing is, for society, all the power, all the sort of all the sort of tenacity, all the all those sorts of things come from the mums and the grandmas and the daughters and so on. But sometimes they don't really fully appreciate that power.
Grandma for Bones. That's a good campaign. Grandmothers for Bones.
Grandmothers for Bones. Yeah. Well, one of the people who's very generous with his time and help is John May. John May is a trustee for the foundation, and his big thing is about trying to keep the sort of the older female relatives well, because when that goes, the nucleus of the family becomes less coherent and cohesive.
Yeah.
And so if you can, and so in our opinion, it's entirely wanton. All osteoporosis fractures are entirely identifiable decades before they're going to happen, and avoidable. So grandmas are really the the glue that holds a lot of sort of families and society together. And we want to be. And the thing is, they're not very demanding. They're not very say, "Where's my thing?" They're not marching up and down government buildings.
Oh, we should
my
be.
drug.
We should be.
Yeah. Super. Well, listen,
I have one more question. Just my personal illness now.
Shall I just stop this thing?
Yes.
And we could. Yeah.